Yo, it's Brian and Jim from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and today we're checking out the Simpsons Hit and Run, which was released for the Xbox, GameCube, PS2, and Microsoft Windows.
Released in 2003, this game was developed by RoccoW Entertainment. They're best known for Mario is Missing on the NES. I'm just fucking with you. They're known for games like Prototype, The Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction. A lot of open worldy kind of games, much like this. Kind of, not to say rip-offs of Grand Theft Auto, but they're good at making sandbox games, and especially ones that are more action-oriented.
Alright, so the graphics. Now this game came out a year later after The Simpsons Skateboarding, and it shows. There's a hell of a lot more detail. And since this is the first true interactive Springfield that we've seen on a 3D level, it's pretty damn impressive for a first try. Sure, everything isn't perfect, but there's little animations for all types of things in the environment when you explode cars. There's even damage done to your car that you can physically see. It's just really not bad at all, and it really maintains that Simpsons kind of cartoonish feel. So, me and Jim, we didn't have any problems with it. We each gave it a 7. And I'm actually just going to add a beer just to celebrate it. Fuck it.
Alright, the sound. I'm just going to say it. This is the first game that really sounds like a game for the Simpsons universe. It's got that orchestral, light but upbeat, kind of full-bodied experience. Now, they didn't get Danny Elfman to do the music for it. They got David Newman to do it, and you know what? He did a damn fine job, and he kept the spirit of the game and the world going well. There's different music for different parts of the game, for different missions. The in-game sound effects, they're basic, but they get the job done. There's a ton of voiceover work. And we'll get to this later, but the world feels alive with all the people that are walking around, and everyone has something to say. And your character has a good amount of vocal work, just generic vocal work. Some of it gets a little annoying after a while. We felt that while some of the music could be a little, say, bland, it fits the theme of The Simpsons well. And we both gave it 6s. We enjoyed it. It actually adds to the game for once. Let's have another celebration. We'll add another beer just for it being a fun time that will actually remind you of The Simpsons.
Alright, so as far as controls concerned, this game is a big improvement for the majority of Simpsons games, but there are some problems. For example, the camera. Now this was a common problem for these early 3D games. Sure, you had games like Super Mario 64, which nailed it on its first try. But let's face it, the majority of games did not have that kind of camera control and suffered the fate of awkward camera angles, making levels like this, where you have to kind of platform jump, almost fucking impossible. And other than that, the only other real problem we had was when you're trying to target someone, the hitting is a little just single directional. It would have just really helped if they had a targeting system. And if you're watching this video and you know they have a targeting system, then let us know, because we just never found it. But anyway, other than that, the control's fine, the driving's really responsive. No problems there. So I gave it a 6, Jim gave it a 5. We're just going to add one more beer because there's some improvements this game definitely could have had.
Here's a dumb question. Have you ever played Grand Theft Auto? Because if you have, you basically get the gist of this. So, what can you say? It's an open sandbox style game. You run around, you have a ton of different missions you can do, a lot of items you can collect, a lot of them little Easter eggs hidden here and there. There's platforming going on. It gives you a variety. It's nothing you haven't seen before, but it's definitely an improvement to most Simpsons games. And, just like in Grand Theft Auto, you have a hit and run meter that you fill up, and basically that's kind of like the police meter in Grand Theft Auto. So maybe the only real points that we docked from it was just, it's nothing we haven't seen before, and we've seen it done better in a lot of games. But on its own, it's fine. Brian gave it a 7. I gave it a 5. I wasn't quite as impressed. We'll add another beer for it, really, let's say, opening up the Simpsons world to us.
Alright, very similar to Simpsons Skateboarding. Yes, this is just a clone of another more popular game. But it is, like I said, the first Simpsons game to feature a fully interactive 3D environment. So, we're still fair with our scoring. As you can see, we gave it 3s. It really didn't recreate anything new, but it is the first Simpsons 3D, so we're not going to hate on it. We're still going to add 2 beers, just for the pure fact that clone games that don't offer anything new come off as extra lazy.
Alright, replayability. You have something here. So, in every level and every mission, there's certain collectibles that are hidden throughout. Some more than others, some harder to find than others. And it gives you a lot to kind of go for, and it rewards exploration. There's actually an Itchy and Scratchy short at the end of the game that you can get if you collect all of a certain type of card in the game. Also, like any sandbox game, you don't even really need to play the missions. You can still have fun just getting in cars, driving around, doing side missions. Kind of really just fucking off, but just enjoying the world that you're in. And really for us, 2003 was about the tail end of when we were really watching The Simpsons. So we still had that desire to actually go around and really experience the world. So when it comes to scores, Brian gave it an 8. I gave it a 5. I guess I wasn't as impressed, and I can freely admit I was probably a little unfair on it. Could also be the beer. Wink, wink. I'll add 1 beer just because it's cool that they made an Itchy and Scratchy short for the game.
Well, overall, what can I say? I actually enjoyed this game easily above average. There was just something here that I hadn't seen in our Simpsons game, and kind of something that you always wanted when you were a kid watching these shows. Like, you always want to experience Springfield in your own way, and this is the first game to really offer that to you. Now, following suit with some of these other scores, as you're about to see, me and Jim, we didn't agree on the end. Like he just mentioned, could be the beer, could be that he just sucks at sandbox games. I gave it a 7, he gave it a 5, and it rounds out to a 6. This, along with Simpsons Skateboarding, though, they're really the 2 most overly acceptable games we've played since the Simpsons arcade game. So, I'm going to add a beer just for that. And once again, this is not a let's bring it down beer. This is a raise your glass up and celebrate beer for an actually pretty decent Simpsons game.
With this beer pairing, we kind of went with the theme of me and Brian not agreeing as much, and him liking it more than I did. So, as you can see in this review right here, we're going to choose Guinness Extra Stout. It's a good beer, don't get me wrong. I'm not crazy about Guinness, and this one I actually liked more than regular Guinness. But Brian really loved it. Along those lines, it fits with this game.
Hey guys, thanks for watching as always, and make sure you give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out all of our other great Simpsons or game reviews. See you next time.